Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever the fuck you're watching this episode. We're back with another episode of the Blitz. My name is Raul Herrera. With me, Gary, Andy. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Good. You got some NFL football in the books. Love it.
Yeah, you're right. It feels good. Maybe some teams stuck in the preseason.
Yeah.
Maybe some teams that wish they were still in the preseason because they have a quarterback out for the season after 7 snaps. Who knows? I mean, it's been kind of a tough start to the season for some, pretty dominant for others. So, Andy, how are you tonight?
I'm good. We had a pretty wet weekend of football. I think that probably affects some of the. There were some games where it was quite.
You don't need to say it like that.
Listen, I said what I said.
You don't need to say it like that. We don't need to do that. So
you didn't like it?
I didn't need it. I didn't need it.
But you got it anyways.
Listen, that's some Ben Roethlisberger shit, and I'm not here for that. Shout out Deshaun, and that's on Deshaun Watson. Anyways, onward. Let's start with the review of last week's fucking mess, and the first one's not really a mess. It was a solid performance by the team that we expected to win. We're victorious, starting out right. Chiefs taking the L, and the Lions looking strong. Lions looking absolutely strong here. So, plenty of stuff to dive into. I think we should immediately start with the resident Lions fan. Andy, what are your takeaways here?
Oh, me. Yeah. No,
yeah,
it was good. As a Lions fan, I thought they could win the game. We obviously picked them to win the game. I think a little bit of that might be wishful thinking from some people. I did see some other experts. Not a goddamn one on the broadcast picked them though. So that's one of those eat crow, eat shit moments. But they had a lot of things going. They did exactly what I thought that they would do to win the game. They ran the ball. They were consistent. Montgomery just constantly in that Jamal Williams role from last season. They eased Gibbs in. A lot of people weren't really necessarily happy with the way they used Gibbs, but I liked it. It's kind of what I expected. You don't just throw the rookie out there and, give them, hey, these are the Super Bowl champs. Go get it. So he had 9 touches, 6 missed tackles, 6 broken tackles, which was good for the record week 1. On 9 touches. So Sam Laporta looked good, the rookie. He had 5 catches. He laid down some good blocks. Ryan Branch with the touchdown, obviously. Jack Campbell had a couple big plays. I think it's all coming together for this team. A lot of the second and third year guys just look comfortable. Aiden Hutchinson was an absolute terror all night, despite the bullshit we saw from Jawan. But, fuck it. Listen, I would do it too if they're going to let me get away with it every play. So, yeah, no, it was good. It was great. Obviously, Mahomes misses Kelsey. Marquez Valdez-Scantling was probably he's got to be his most comfortable target besides Kelsey. And I think I saw him like twice. So, obviously, he's not going to be a guy you can depend on to be your number 1 receiver. Sky Moore, fucking milk carton. Kadarius Toney sucked.
We wish that Kadarius Toney was on a milk carton rather than what happened Thursday night football.
Yeah, that's all I got, man. Super pumped. It's nice to fucking go into the weekend and not give a fuck.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at this point because your team's already played, your team's already won. We're starting strong, and Goff is I think probably proving some doubters wrong, right? Like, it's a solid team.
I was the biggest one.
I mean, I think all of us here, none of us expected Goff to do what he's doing now, let alone be any level of successful. But he looked confident, and that's the biggest takeaway for me was Goff looked confident. Now, granted, he's playing against a broken Chiefs team, and Kadarius Toney was a whole brick and a half, and Kelsey was not, was nowhere to be found. And you're right. I mean, you can't put the team on Pat's back when there's no one for Pat to throw to, right? And there are people that he can throw to, and they either not catch the ball or Pat isn't having that kind of chemistry with them, right? So I think that definitely they're going to have to make some adjustments. And Kelsey's going to be back this week.
They're thinking he'll be back this week. They haven't guaranteed it yet, but
Chris Jones will be back this week.
yeah, he got paid. He got paid pretty
That
quickly.
was rather fast.
What a
Yeah.
great holdout. Everybody's pissed at Chris Jones, and if I was a Chiefs fan, I probably would be too. But I was getting there with Zach Martin, admittedly. The man deserves the bag. It's more so than his fucking quarterback he's protecting. But we'll get to that some other time. Gary, what are your takeaways from the game?
Yeah, this was, after the game, Mike Tirico kind of said, "Oh, there's an asterisk on this game because Jones didn't play and Kelsey didn't play." Fine, if you want to say something like that, whatever. But the reality is, there's no asterisk on any game in the NFL. You only play fucking 17 of them, and every one that you win is a big fucking deal. It doesn't matter who you're playing, because no matter what team you play, they have 53 fucking professional football players on the other side. Now, would Kansas City been a different team with Chris Jones and Travis Kelce? Maybe, but we'll never know, right? Maybe the Lions, at the last minute, finding out that Kelce was hurt, had to completely fucking, oh shit, we got to scrap the entire game plan. Maybe they had some whiz-bang defense they were going to play against fucking Travis Kelce and take him out of it. And maybe they knew Kadarius Toney was fucking dog shit because they listened to this podcast and we've been saying it for 3 fucking years. The Giants didn't realize it when they drafted him fucking 19 overall, but call us, right? Call us, GMs, before you fucking make these decisions. Great win for the Lions. Great win for the Lions. If I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm not panicking because, yeah, you were missing 2 fucking first-team All-Pros, right? You're going to be fine. You've got Pat Mahomes. Kelsey's going to be back. Chris Jones is back this week. I hope they ease him in so they don't run into a situation where maybe he gets hurt potentially, right? Because a lot of these holdout guys, now I know we only hold out a week, but these holdout guys sometimes come back and it's a hammy, it's a quad, that sort of thing. We'll see. But they're going to be fine. I want to talk more about the Lions, honestly. There were times in this game where it felt like it could slip away from them, and they didn't let it. That's something that, Andy, I know you as a Lions fan and me as your friend and talking about the Lions for a very long time, that's not the Detroit Lions that we know. The Detroit Lions that we know would have found a way to let that game get to 2-3 fucking scores and they're out of the game and it would have been over. This is a team that took some punches from the Chiefs, the turnover, right? And you run into issues there, and then they get the pick 6 and they take it back to the house. Dan Campbell fucking putting his nuts in a wheelbarrow and going for it on his own fucking 17. Huge deal. Because if you miss that, you're in Arrowhead, that could potentially get away from you, right? So I just love what I saw from the Lions. I think this NFC North got a lot more interesting over the weekend because they surprised the Packers aren't necessarily, I don't think, going to be as bad as we thought they could be. The Vikings are probably gettable after watching them lay an egg against the Broncos. And the Lions went and made a statement against the Super Bowl champs. So, the Bears aside, because they're still in rebuilding phase, the Bears aside, this NFC North over the weekend, my thoughts on the division got a lot more interesting because of what each team did this weekend. It feels like this could be a legitimate 3-horse race into December, and that could be really, really interesting in this division.
The narrative for the Bears is really what threw that game off, I think, with the Packers.
Sure.
I mean, maybe the Packers aren't as bad as people thought they were going to be, but the problem is the Bears are as bad as I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, namely in the fucking greater Chicago area, tooting this horn all fucking summer about how, Justin Fields is now the best quarterback in this division. We improved the defense. They look like the same team as they were last year. And I knew DJ Moore wasn't going to fix it. I think most people realized that. However, I've listened to it for like 6 months, and it's – I don't even want to say nice because I hate Green Bay, but it's validating to see them just go out there and be exactly who the fuck I thought they were, so –
I think from the Bears perspective, right, maybe the fans got a little hype, maybe the talking heads got a little hyped, but I think it's a good sign that they're trying, right, to do something to build around Justin Fields. Whether
they had a good offseason.
Right. They're still not there.
Right. They still got a bad offensive line, and they still have a young quarterback who doesn't necessarily throw the football well. So,
Yep. I think he's a little gun shy for sure, but anyway.
Well, he's got those legs. If I could fucking run like that, I'd never throw the ball.
Great win by the Lions, though.
On to the next. All of us on the L train here. Carolina, who our choice was, on the road in Atlanta, and Atlanta pulls out the W. Man, this was, overall, I think it was a interesting game. I don't necessarily think that we've overstated the Panthers, but I think we've definitely underestimated the Falcons. Anybody disagree with that?
Yeah, I think the NFC South is one of those that they're all kind of bad. The Saints might be the best in that division, but it's hard to pick a team in those. And maybe we should have picked Atlanta because they were at home, right? Maybe that should have been the deciding factor.
That's fair.
This was a game on Sunday that I couldn't remember who I even picked.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I should have rode with Bijan. That's all I know. Anyways, Texans on the road in Baltimore. Baltimore winning at home. All of us on the win train there. Listen, 2 for 3. We're sitting pretty.
Yeah.
Cincinnati. God, what a fucking mess that was. I know this isn't our low-good conversation, but son of a bitch, yeah, it was. Weather sucks. But these, the Bengals also train outdoors. They train outside their training facility. I don't think they have an indoor facility yet.
They're building one.
Right. So, I hate the look. I haven't lost any hope in the Tiger King. I think that the Browns are a team that are up and coming, and they got the better of the Bengals here, and hate to see it, but
Yeah, I think it validates the Browns just a little bit more so than anything. I thought that they could be good anyways. I actually watched the whole game because the Lions weren't playing. This was the game I ended up looking at, and it was an ugly game. Nobody could catch the ball. T. Higgins had nothing that whole game. Jamar Chase barely did. Burrow struggled, man. Them fucking Donald Trump hands, shit was not helpful. He couldn't grip the ball. He couldn't throw the ball. Watson struggled too, but he had if you're judging it off that one game, Watson looked like the much more capable quarterback. But that rain, it killed them.
Yeah.
I think the rust was a big factor. Plus, I've never been somebody who looks at like trends necessarily with teams, but it does feel like this is one of those ones. The Browns have beaten the Bengals like fucking 5 straight times. It's unfucking believable that this dog shit Browns franchise has beaten a team that's been to a Super Bowl and an AFC Championship game fucking handily quite a few times over the last fucking 3-4 years. It's crazy.
Well, they kind of have their kryptonite though. They're good up front, and Cincinnati still doesn't block for the quarterback.
No, despite all the money they've thrown at that offensive line, it's still not great.
That's the one thing to me that wasn't, that the rain wasn't affecting, but it was still just killing Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville gets a win. Almost questionable win on the road against Indianapolis. So I guess we can make this our quick tip for Tad around the circle here. Does this say more about the Jaguars or does it say more about the Colts? I'm saying it says the Jags have some film and some practicing to do.
I think it says a lot about Richardson. I thought he looked pretty good. He played a good game. I thought Jacksonville later in the game kind of showed they were
right.
They were a little more comfortable. But I thought Richardson looked better, at least Sunday, than I was giving him credit for.
Yeah.
Yep, me too. Despite the fact that the Jaguars did eventually cover, this was one of our locks from last week. This was not a comfortable, easy cover. This was a sweat. And as you said, Andy, Richardson, I think I'm going to have to eat some crow on the guy because I said all year last year that he should not be a top pick in the NFL. And when the Colts took him, I said, well, there we go again. The Colts are missing on a guy at quarterback. He's athletic, and he's going to have to get better in terms of decision-making with the football. He's going to have to get more accurate. But if he can clean up that stuff, maybe he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. That fucking hurts me so bad to say that.
He made Michael Pittman look like a viable wide
receiver, man, and Pittman's fucking dog shit. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's all I could think. Every time I saw Pittman running with the fucking ball, I was like, I avoided the shit out of him in fantasy football this year because he killed me last year.
Yep.
Radioactive.
Radioactive.
On to the next one. We're all on the fucking L train here. This is what I get for riding with the fucking Vikings. Won't happen again. They lose. Baker Mayfield gets a W on the road for his first game with the Bucs. Quick tit for tat. Does it say more about the Vikings or more about the Bucs?
The Vikings.
But it says what we already knew.
Yeah. I mean, that's a bad loss. Fucking A, that's a bad loss.
Listen, they could have had like 8 of those last year. They were really fucking close to having 8 of those bad losses last year.
You get 9 for $150 out of Jefferson, and you get a tutty out of your first round fucking wide receiver. Like, you should beat the Bucs. But again, the Vikings just can't stop a fucking wet dream on defense. It's ridiculous what they do on defense, and then to only score 17 points when you have 9 for $150 and a touchdown out of your rookie wide receiver. I don't know what happened to the Vikings offense. It is clear they've got big problems in the running game. Losing Dalvin Cook was a huge loss for them. Whether or not Dalvin Cook even goes on to be any good this year with the Jets, they've got a big fucking problem that they did not address at running back.
Dalvin Cook looked all right Monday night.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that wasn't an indictment on Cook, whether or not he has a great season.
Right. I was just saying
the Vikings is just fucking. They have a problem at running back.
I think the Vikings are a step above the Giants.
That's what they looked like this weekend. You're absolutely. Listen. I've been the Kirk apologist. I've been in the corner of telling you all that the Vikings are better than they get credit for, and they've proven me right over the last couple of years. But that performance Sunday, I can't defend. I can't. I picked them to win the division. I'm not going to spoil the overreaction for later, but fucking
you give Kirk more tools. It's not fully a discredit to Kirk. I'll say that.
They looked bad. They looked bad. They looked bad across the board. Kirk had a bad turnover at a crucial time in that game. Like, there's no apologizing for him in that game either. Like, they're bad. You shouldn't lose to the Bucs at home to open the season, especially not when you get the performance you get out of a guy that you drafted that everybody was like, yeah, maybe he could be good in the NFL. He showed he can be good in the NFL, and you still laid an egg against the fucking Bucs, who are maybe the Bucs are going to be great this year, but nobody expects them to be great this year.
Well, it was like last year, Minnesota, they did, everything possible to lose games and still manage to win. And now this year, first week,
they couldn't.
It was the same sort of game. They just didn't fucking win.
And that's why I made the comparison to the Giants, is that they scraped away with a lot of wins last year that they shouldn't have.
They had that magic. Yeah, they had the negative point differential, and I think the Giants were only like 7 or 8 points better than their opponents. It was something low. I mean,
it's crazy. Yeah, no, for real. They were playing on a razor's edge last year. They were a battle-tested team that won a lot of tight games late. If they don't do that this year, they probably are going to be a 4 or 5 win team, honestly, if they can't replicate some of that from last year. And that running game, man, they are going to struggle on the offensive side of the ball because Kirk's biggest strength is in the play action game. He's really, really good at selling the play action, and he's really, really good at seeing the field on bootlegs and stuff out of the play action. If they can't run the ball, that offense is going to be a fucking slog.
Madison is just as good as Cook.
Yeah, I don't know who the fuck foolish person said that, but
a lot of fucking people. I heard it.
Too many of them.
On to the next. Andy riding with Tennessee, taking his first differential L here. New Orleans wins at home. I mean, this was a toss-up, I think. So, tit for tat, does it say more about the Giants or more about the Titans? Does it say more about either of them? Is it just kind of like, either shit show could have won that game?
I don't even remember why I picked Tennessee. I gave a reason. I don't remember what it was.
You just didn't think the Saints were going to be good, probably.
I still don't.
I think this confirms for me that the Saints' defense is going to be really good. And probably confirms for a lot of people that Ryan Tannehill is no longer Ryan Tannehill of 2019 through 2021. The Saints' defense is really good. They can get after the quarterback, and they've got some really good playmakers on the back end of that defense, and they picked Tannehill off 3 times this weekend. That's how the Saints are going to win games this year. It's going to be really good defense, and Derek Carr and Chris Olave and Michael Thomas kind of doing some things. They get Kamara back. Maybe they can be more dangerous, but that's going to be the formula for the Saints this year, and they're in the perfect division for that. That's why I picked them to win that division. They showed it this weekend that that's their formula. For me, that's the only thing I really take away from this game, is that it confirms for me that New Orleans is the class of that division defensively. And if that formula that they went with this weekend continues throughout the season, I think they're going to win that division. They're going to win a lot of games that way, because that defense is one of the probably 4 or 5 best, quietly too. Like, I don't think they get enough credit for how good they are defensively. Cam Jordan.
My only question with this is the Titans question, and it's when do they appease the mob that's going to be calling for one of the young guys? They have Levis and Willis. I mean, somebody's they don't want to see fucking Tannehill out here.
No, you can't throw 3 picks this weekend and probably survive. I think it's going to come pretty quick if they're struggling, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
Yep.
All right, and San Francisco on the road in Pittsburgh. San Francisco taking the W on the road. Pittsburgh. We had I don't know. I didn't understand this pick. I just kind of got. I mean, I'm just going to let you have the floor here.
Yeah, look, I thought Pittsburgh's defense was going to give Purdy problems after the injury. Didn't he? For some reason, he's a fucking what kind of medical procedure did he have that he recovered from Tommy John in 6 months?
Facts, yeah.
And looked like that, right?
Yeah.
Nobody recovers from Tommy John in 6 month. Nobody does.
Baby blood, dude.
Good for him. Whatever that stem cell fucking injection is, or baby blood, whatever it is. He got
the Adrian Peterson ACL repair.
Right. CMC looked great. San Francisco's defense was suffocating. The addition of Javon Hargrave to that fucking front and Eric Armstead being healthy, they are going to be a fucking nightmare.
But this is the same team that we expect to be the dominant team in the NFC, so I'm just confused by the Pittsburgh.
I just thought
Harry was trying some shit.
He was trying maybe. I thought the Pittsburgh defense was going to be able to stop Purdy. I thought we'd see Russ from Purdy. I was dead wrong. That's why I made the pick. I didn't make
Gary's still in his fucking underdog era. We got it.
Purdy looked good as fuck. I remember looking over at one point and I was like, the fuck is this guy's problem?
Yep. Yeah. I thought he'd have some rust. He didn't. I was fucking so wrong on this pick.
I love being the least knowledgeable sports guy on these shows, because I get to just shit on you for being wrong. And if I'm wrong, it's just I don't know shit, so it's okay. It's the ultimate cop-out. On to the next. All of us here on Victory Island, even Gary. You know what, Gary? I don't want to fucking hear it from you. We're just going to go to Andy on this one. So what does this say about Washington?
So this was the game I had to the right of me watching the Browns game, and my brother's a Redskins fan, so he was watching it, or a Commanders fan. But no, it was good, man. It was beautiful. I picked them on my my survivor pool, and I was fucking going nuts. They pulled through. Gary, I'm glad you went with your guys.
Round, baby. Excellent. On to the next one. Oh, he's actually not going to talk.
Look, one statement. This team, as long as Ron is in charge, is going to continue to show up unprepared every fucking week, and that's what it was this weekend. That Arizona team is so bad, yet we kept them in the game because we ignored the offensive line for the last 5 years, and Ron can never get the team to get out of the fucking locker room to start a goddamn game. Howell was under fire the entire first half. I don't know what Bieniemy was doing. He ignored the fucking run. We are so fucking unprepared to play these games. We should have fucking curb stomped the Cardinals fucking 31-10 is what that game should have fucking been. That team is so bad. But we just cannot We cannot show up to the ballpark ready to fucking play.
Two things though. Did we undersell the Cardinals defense a little bit? Because I thought that they looked pretty capable. I don't think that was all Washington's bad. They were sending guys. They were in there. I thought, and it rained too. It was another one of those games where it was slushy as fuck.
I think it's more of a perseverance thing. Like I don't necessarily think that they're going to go up against the Buffalo Bills or something like a better offensive. Well, Buffalo Bills probably not a great comparison here, admittedly.
Yeah.
We'll fucking get to that later. We will fucking get to that later. My bad. But you know they're not going to go up against a solid team and perform that.
That defense isn't good.
I
get what you're saying. Maybe we undersold them, but no. I watched an offensive line that had roller skates on. It was not good.
I thought they played hard.
We refused to run the ball,
and they're all pros.
They really tried their best out there.
I think not just us, but everybody got so hell bent on this Cardinals team might win 2 fucking games that it was like they can't possibly come out in week 1.
He's not willing to give him an inch.
No. I watched Eric Bieniemy try to prove to the world that he could make Sam Howell Pat Mahomes. That's what I watched this weekend. That's what I watched. This is a team that should run the ball 30 to 35 times a game because we've got Brian fucking Robinson, who is a fucking bruiser behind the quarterback. Big dog. 30 to 35 rushes a game. Get Brian Robinson a couple of swing passes out of the backfield as well to get him locked up against some DBs that he can just fucking run over. Instead, we threw the ball 41 times and ran it 17. That is not the formula for success for this team. You're not going to make Sam Howell Pat Mahomes. You're just fucking not. So Bieniemy needs to go back to the drawing board and figure out what it was that caused him to just give up on the run before the game even started. That's the problem. We allowed Arizona to pin their ears and tee off. And against an offensive line that is severely overmatched against the fucking Georgia Bulldogs. This offensive line is terrible.
Maybe that's why Bieniemy's not getting the head coaching job.
It might be, man. It's got to be. Maybe that's what it is, dude. It's philosophy or something, but
fucking Ron hires his own.
Crazy, dude. Anyway, sorry. I know we got
Patricia next week. Patricia's coming to that spot.
Yeah. Oh, fat Patricia. All right. So Gary on Winter's Island here, as he sticks with Green Bay, Andy and I doubting Green Bay's ability, get proven wrong, and we get proven that the Bears are exactly who we think they are, who everybody knows they are. And this is, again, speaks more to Green Bay than it does to the Bears. The Bears are rebuilding. This was a positive offseason, like we talked about earlier, but they're not there yet. The Green Bay Packers, however, in the NFC North conversation are very much so in that conversation. Do I edge them over the Lions? No. I think the Lions are going to still lock down the NFC North as of now, but Green Bay is still a problem in the NFC North.
Yeah, Love looks capable.
And the wild card.
Love looks capable.
He does.
I liked what he did.
The one big thing that I take away from this game, it's not the fact that the Packers were able to move the ball against the Bears because that Bears defense is bad.
Right.
The Packers defense looks like a bunch of dogs. They got a lot of athletes. They got a lot of speed. They got a lot of size on that side of the ball. They're going to be tough to score on this year. If Love continues to look, as Andy, you put it perfectly, capable, right? If he continues to look comfortable in that offense, the Packers are going to beat a lot of folks. I think that everybody expected a huge drop-off because the last we saw of Jordan Love prior to this season, he was really bad last preseason. And with Rodgers departing, I think everybody thought we were going to get that. We didn't get that, at least not yet this season. If he continues to play at this level, this is a team that's capable of winning 10, 11 games and making a race of it in the NFC North.
Let's see how they do against a contender. And then
we'll absolutely. That's going to be the measuring stick. The Bears are not a measuring stick for fucking anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought they'd split, so I was just giving the Bears the home win.
Yeah, that plays.
It's clear that any Packers quarterback still owns what used to be called Soldier Field.
Yeah, there's a lease. Transferred the lease there.
Yeah, clearly.
Anyway, so Oakland on the road in Denver, Vegas. Broncos country. Let's ride. Excuse me, Vegas. It'll never be Vegas to me. I won't give it up, dude. It's always Oakland. It's all. I mean, it's just it's been how many fucking years, and I'm still doing it. It's just I give up. Listen, Broncos country. Let's fucking ride. Get a home win. Russ wasn't entirely the problem, but what we are seeing is all of the press coming out about from fucking Coach Peyton acknowledging that Russ has a problem with his social media persona, his fucking shtick, if you will, and I'm glad that there's some accountability being talked about publicly there, because I'm sure the fan base has to acknowledge how fucking cringy he is, right? Like, he is one of the most cringe human beings known to man. And even more cringe than his excited screaming girlfriend when he got drafted in that picture. So it's, yeah, dude.
It's crazy she married Pat Mahomes, right? It's the same. Isn't that the same one?
Dude. Oh. I feel like I just pitched up a watermelon and didn't realize how big of that watermelon was. And then
he hit that one out of the park.
Dude, it was last week. He did it last week with Karen Rodgers. It fucking just absolutely, God, we need to clip that. Yeah. Anyways. So RIP Aaron Rodgers. So we are anyways, fuck it. Let's just move on to the next one. Listen. Denver's potentially back, okay? And we get to Miami on the road in LA. Rel and Andy, we're victorious there. We rode down with Tua, we rode with Tyreek, we rode with the magic happening in Miami, and it kind of turned into a fucking dogfight there, man. And I loved it. I mean, this was really telling for both teams that they were both fully capable of answering the call. And I'll just jump into my piece real quick and I'll pass off. But Brandon Staley's a fucking nightmare, right? Like, he is not who you need in a critical moment. He's not who you need in a critical moment. So, he's the guy that calls for a pass on fucking 1st and goal instead of handing it to Marshawn Lynch. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Time management, play calling.
The guy with the big lead that won't run the ball in the playoffs.
Time management is a fucking huge issue, but the play calling in the critical moments where it's a combination of clock management and play calling and conservative ball, protect your fucking lead. And I can't even understand it.
My biggest thing from this game is I'm going to give Chargers fans a heads up. Buckle up. Strap in, because you're heading for another fucking season of 9-8 football, 10-7 football, and you're going to probably lose in the first round of the playoffs if you even get in.
This hope is gone.
This team is fucking loaded to the gills with talent. They should beat Miami at home. You've got a lead on them, and you're just losing Tyreek Hill all over the place. I understand he's the cheetah. I understand he's Tyreek Hill, but your head coach is allegedly a defensive savant, and he can't figure out how to protect a fucking lead in the NFL. Tua's just throwing dimes all over the fucking place and wide open receivers everywhere. This is a Chargers team that is going to underachieve yet again this year. Maybe they don't even win 9 games. Maybe they don't get anywhere near a playoff spot because they are so underwhelming every fucking week, it seems. They should be blowing fucking teams out the way that they're able to move the ball offensively. They can't stop they can't cover their own shadow on defense, despite all the fucking talent they have.
I feel like it's more of a credit to the fucking Chargers. I'm sorry, the Miami offense. I mean, I really do. Like, I feel like
fine, but are we going to credit every offense in the NFL then? Like, is that just our standard?
That's not always the case.
Chargers can't stop anybody.
No, it's true. I mean, they can't stop any. They're such a frustrating team. Yeah. I just think in this game, personally, they got out-offensed, which is what I thought was going to happen. I just thought we were going to see an offensive. I didn't think Tua was going to throw for 466, but Tyreek and Waddle, that's a fucking nightmare to game plan for.
Yeah.
And on the other end, obviously, the Chargers are a nightmare. They did it a little differently this week. They had 200 yards rushing between Kelly and Eckler. Eckler things. Yeah, Kelly had a great game. I just I don't want to pull the plug on him yet. Gary, you set him on fire. Like this Salem witch trial over here. But I just like Jesus Christ, man. It's like your white Air Forces got scuffed and now you threw them in the trash can first day. I don't know, man. I think they're going to be okay. I think they can win like 10 games, maybe 11. I think Miami is good. I think they're a very good team. I think now with the Rodgers going down, Josh Allen out there looking like Rex Grossman, I think Miami has a legitimate chance at winning their division. I think some people thought that to begin with. And yeah, they just proved it. Tyreek Hill is a nightmare. Like he's quickly becoming like I think the argument the last couple of years is like Tyreek's too much of a one-trick pony to be the best receiver in the league. He's a speedster. You hear all these things. It's like this guy's a fucking complete player.
Yeah. In crucial moments, he's in fucking single coverage with no help anywhere to be fucking found. I don't understand it, but I don't know. Whatever.
Throw away the whole team.
So angry. All right. Philly.
I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
That seemed real fucking personal, my guy. Philly on the road, Gillette Stadium. I mean, all right, dude. Like I don't understand this.
I know where you're going. You're gonna hate on me for this fucking pick, but
no.
They spotted Philly 17 fucking points and still had a chance to win that goddamn game.
No hate. None whatsoever. Like I don't understand it. I don't understand the game. I don't understand how that turned around. Like I don't know. Philly looked, I don't know, disheveled.
It's not that we hate on Gary. It's that Gary picked against both of the best teams from the NFC in the same week from last year. I think that's where it had me last week. I was like, man, he picked against San Fran and Philly week one.
I disagree that Philly's one of the best two teams in the NFC.
No. I'm saying the two best teams last year. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fair.
That's where I'm coming from. The NFC championship game, you picked against both those teams week one. So it was a little, for two teams who didn't make the playoffs, it was a little. So I don't think it was hating. I thought the Pats played pretty well.
Yeah. No, I was dead wrong on the Steelers, but you spot the Eagles 17-0. You're not gonna make that up as the Pats. Your offense ain't that good. They fucking had a chance though. That defense is the real deal this year. That Pats defense. If they can figure out how to protect the ball and score just 20 points without giving the other team fucking 14, they're gonna win a lot of games.
And Mac Jones looked good. Bourne looked good. That connection was lighting it up.
Yeah. Yeah, Kendrick Bourne looked like Randy Moss this
weekend. And Andy on Victory Island here as he rides with Matt Stafford. I was going to say Matty Ice. It's just not the same person, but I like the reference still. Seattle not looking like it, but I feel like, honestly, Stafford looked comfortable. He looked like he looked like he was doing work in the offseason. He looked healthy. He looked comfortable. I don't think he felt that way the entire game. I think that there were certainly errors that were made, but I think overall, pretty impressive.
I said last week that I thought I picked that game the way I did because I thought the Rams were a little better than they were getting credit, and I thought Seattle was a little worse than they were getting credit. And then the game didn't even really play out that way. Like all of a sudden there's these receiving weapons in LA. Like who the fuck are these guys? The thing I know about Matt Stafford is if you give him capable weapons, he's going to make things happen. And, again, I doubted Seattle a little bit more than most people, and we saw that come true. However, I will say, which, we could have noted probably for many of these games, the first couple of weeks are weird. But yeah, makes me feel a little better about the Lions rolling into Seattle or rolling home to play Seattle week 2. But Yeah, Rams look better than dog shit. I think a lot of people thought they'd win 5 games.
The Rams defense looked a lot better than I think everybody expected to. Listen, I'm going to give you 100%. You nailed this. You said Seattle's not who they were last year. They were a little overrated last year, fortunate last year, that sort of thing. And you nailed this. One tidbit from me, you mentioned the weapons piece, fantasy kind of perspective. While Cooper Kupp is out, anyone who didn't pick him up before week 1, that being me, despite watching the preseason game where they were raving about Puka Nakua, that dude can fucking play. If he's going to get run, he can play. They say he's one of the best route runners they've ever had in their system. And for a team that has Cooper Kupp in their system and had OBJ in their system, that's fucking high praise. So, and you know, that goes back to like McVay coach like Pierre Garçon and whatnot in Washington. So for them to heap that praise on a guy who they drafted in, I believe, the 6th round, might have been the 5th round. Fantasy guys out there, he'll probably go quick on the waiver wire, but he's going to be a very popular pickup this week, at least while Cooper Kupp is out. And in dynasty leagues, keep an eye on him if you can stash him on your bench for next year when some of these weapons start coming off a contract.
And I already got a waiver in. If you're watching this, you play in my league, and you're ahead of me, don't fucking do it because I already have it in. So just let me be. Yeah. And he was talking shit, too. That's why I tried to pick him up, because he was running his mouth the whole game. That's cool.
Yeah.
Talk shit.
He's solid. I was going to target him in a bunch of leagues, and then I got late, and like they were projecting him to be the 4th guy with Cooper Kupp in, and then, of course, Cooper Kupp, late decision, they decide he's out. And now this guy's going to fucking tear it up, and I'm going to be pissed because I'm not going to get him on waivers in any of my fucking leagues.
You ain't getting him if you're behind me.
Exactly. I am behind you.
All right, and on to Sunday Night Football. Dallas on the road in New York. And this was...
Listen, I was super wrong about the Steelers, but Andy, you were dead wrong about the Giants.
And this is
there are 31 teams in the NFL who have scored points in a game this season. There's one that hasn't.
Listen, I thought they were going to split with Dallas. That's clearly not going to happen. They're going to be lucky, no offense, to split with the Commanders. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think. Fuck, they might just get swept in their division. They look like dog shit. I was sitting here going like before the game too. I'm like, they'll be fine. They'll be early on. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. And then I was like, shit, I'm going to bed. This is a terrible game. I mean, listen, if I'm gonna be wrong about this, I don't mind. Raul, shout out.
Yeah, a lot of history for Dallas in that game. They fucking. Man, most sacks they've had in an opening week, yada, yada. Raul, take your victory lap, man. Your boys.
No.
No.
Fucking Giants, bro. Let's move on. Like, there's nothing to talk about here. Like, the Giants suck. I know that they suck. They wasted a whole big-ass bag on a nobody. People are already shitting on like, oh, fucking Bengals paid the highest paid quarterback ever. Look what they got out of their investment. Like, look at fucking New York, dog. Those are the biggest cucks in the fucking NFL, and we get to enjoy that shit. Fuck the Cowboys winning. It is still not our year. We are still going to struggle to fucking. We're going to struggle a little less to fucking win our division if we win the division. But this, I mean, come on, bro. Like, it's fucking child's play. You know, we played.
I was expecting Micah Parsons to start taking shotgun snaps, honestly, from the Giants. That's how quickly he was getting in the backfield. It was just a revolving door over there at tackle.
Fucking Danny Dogecoin, okay? I said it in the chat. I'll say it on air. Danny fucking Doge, dog. Yeah. What an absolute letdown. Like, they're just not. They're dog shit. Dog shit Dayball and fucking Danny Doge, dude. The 4 Ds of fucking the New York Giants. And not a single ounce of fucking D on that team, though.
Yeah. That's a bad roster.
Fuck. That felt good. Anyways. And what better way to end this fucking week 1 review than with all 3 of us in the fucking loser column, as we are just falling short, and Aaron Rodgers falls even shorter. JETS, Jets in the ultimate soup sandwich of a fucking game, a game almost as shitty as the weather conditions, and there's genuine concern here.
Hold on. So we all
you hold on. You just interrupted yourself.
I'm still fucking confused by what I said. So we all picked the Bills, assuming Josh Allen and company is going to go in and beat Aaron Rodgers. They lose Aaron Rodgers, and they bring in fucking Zach Wilson, who sucked and who did suck in that game. Like, he didn't even look good. And
couple of throws, but
we're still wrong.
Yeah,
like Garrett Wilson saved his ass. Like, I mean, I take nothing away. The Jets' defense is so fucking scary. They can run the football, but like they had no business winning that game last night or Monday night. No, it was last night. Jesus Christ, where am I? No business. Brandon Bass. Fucking Bass makes the fucking. Remember Brandon Bass from the game?
Tyler Bass.
Tyler Bass.
Yeah,
Brandon Bass from the Celtics? No pass Bass. Tyler Bass banks in that fucking 50-yarder that almost gave me an aneurysm. Yeah. And like, just everything is weird in that whole fucking game. And I can't help but I usually never feel bad for Bills fans, but Jesus, I kind of did last night.
Yeah, that was the weirdest game I think I've ever watched, because Buffalo early, they get a lead and Rodgers goes down, and you're thinking, okay, well, Buffalo's probably going to disappear and the defense is going to shut Zach Wilson and company down. But then Josh Allen had a perfect QBR when targeting Jordan Whitehead. The only problem is Jordan Whitehead plays for the fucking Jets. 3 for 3, and then he fumbles on a careless play on his part. He's just so careless with the football, looks lost a lot of times, but then he comes back and makes a play, and you're like, okay, can we just corral that and keep going with that? But it's the fact that he's just careless with the ball the damn time. I know everybody, the first pick he threw, everybody's like, oh, it's just as good as a punt. But I said it in a group chat that I'm in with a bunch of Bills fans. I said, listen, I understand that that's a punt, right? But the thing you have to understand on that play is that it's clear that Josh Allen did not even fucking know the safety was there. And you can punt all you want, but he could have run that ball, gotten a first down, and you live to play the next series, right?
Well, he threw into double coverage to a guy who's like 5'10".
Right. He threw a rookie who's 5'10", right? It was a mess. And then you come back later in that game, he's throwing another one in the fucking red zone. Jordan Whitehead's just like standing there like, oh, thanks, I'll take this one too.
Right now.
And then again on the sideline, he throws a lazy out route. You never see Josh Allen throw these lazy lollipops, but he does. And Whitehead's right there in help coverage, takes his man to the sideline and fucking picks the ball off. These are JV fucking plays is the problem, and Josh Allen's got to fix it, or they're not going anywhere. Buffalo's not going anywhere if they don't get Josh Allen playing better.
And can we bring that back up from Senior? Senior had the comment. I don't know if you saw it. Yeah, no, it's not looking like that. Like, that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, last night he was lost. Yeah.
In his presser, he was like hand in the cookie jar caught.
He owned it, but he looked so just.
Yeah, but he was saying like this is, it feels like last year, like, because he was doing this shit last year too.
Yep.
He's all of a sudden, and Raul just shit on him a second ago, but I think a big factor is Dable. Like, he's gone, and I don't think Josh Allen's looked the same.
They won't run the ball. They don't get the tight ends involved. They want to just hit the home
run. Cook was okay last night. Cook had some moments.
But they don't give him that budget.
Everybody was expecting for him to change the pace overnight. The Jets are tough defensively. I mean, that's got to be part of it. But I don't know. To me, I thought that game kept looking like the Jets were doing fucking everything they could to just go 4 4 and out, or 6 bad plays, and now we're turning the ball over, or something like that. And it was like eventually the Bills are going to take this to 2 scores, 3 scores, and it just never happened because Josh Allen threw the fucking ball to the other team. He looked like Trevor Lawrence early on in that game against the Chargers.
Yeah.
No matter what he did, the ball was going to the other team.
Yep.
And I don't like it. And it wasn't only the turnovers. Like Allen was getting his ass kicked on plays where he should have slid, where he should have threw the fucking ball away. And he was just
running by himself often last night too, and Allen was missing him.
Well, it's because the Jets don't switch. So if you line up on the opposite side of Sauce Gardner, they don't just switch him over because it's the best receiver. They said that earlier, which I think is dumb as shit. But they had opportunity. Josh Allen just looked like he was doing it. You know what? It looks like he was talking to Ridley in the offseason, and he got himself a DraftKings account.
Maybe
he didn't pick the Bills last night.
Nah. Yeah, that's a tough one, and you can't drop a game like that in the division for a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, because that's a game that can make or break home field advantage, right? A game where the Jets lose their best quarterback, a game where the Jets don't look good on offense, and you have opportunities to put them away and you don't, and then they come back and win in that fashion as well. A walk-off punt after Josh goes 3 and out on offense. It hurts. It hurts.
It's more than losing your best quarterback, though. They didn't just lose like their starter. They didn't lose like Derek Carr. They lost
Aaron
Rodgers. Right. The guy they went on and paid the money. He runs out with the fucking flag like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Like it was.
Right.
And then he's dead.
Yeah, it is. It's Dable, right? 2 seasons ago, they lost Dable. And yeah, you have seen a demonstrable difference in that Buffalo offense, and Josh Allen taking care of the football. He took care of the football that 2021, the year that they went and lost on 13 seconds. He was really good with the football. And Dable had him kind of reining it in and making good decisions. And since then, it's not been good. And for my soft spot for the Bills, I hope that they figure it out. But it looked bad last night.
Looked real bad.
Yeah.
Looked real bad, folks. Yeah. All right, well, let's get to the most important part of our episode. We're a veteran-owned podcast, and we have a segment dedicated to a fallen service member. Every podcast is dedicated to a fallen service member in our Folds of Honor sponsored segment called Salute to Service. This episode is going to be dedicated to Army Staff Sergeant Joseph E. Robsky, Jr., who passed away September 10th, 2003, serving during Operation Iraqi Freedom. He was 31 years old, from Elizaville, New York, assigned to 759th Ordnance Company, Fort Irwin, California, and he was killed in Baghdad, Iraq by an IED. He was on call to neutralize an IED after the initial attempt failed. When he returned to the site to render it safe, the explosive device detonated. Army Staff Sergeant Joseph E. Robsky, Jr. We have the watch. Salute, Senior. Always a pleasure to see you. And now let's get into previewing Week 2. All of us are going to ride with Philly again. Hopefully we don't have as close of a call against a dog shit team, and they're at home. Note the dog shit team. I don't necessarily have any takeaways here from unless you guys do.
Nah, I mean, I think Philly fans are going to want to see their team play better than they did against New England. Minnesota doesn't have the same defense New England has. It's not going to be sloppy weather like Gillette. It should be fairly better weather on the East Coast this weekend, at least according to the weather forecast. And unless Minnesota figures out the running game, which I don't think they're going to do against those big hosses that Philly has in the middle of that defensive front, this is probably a game. Philly should win comfortably if they have aspirations of repeating what they did last year. This is a game that they want to win comfortably.
Yeah, no, I think Philly's probably on the right track here. There was a little weather coming up the East Coast. I think it was supposed to hit more north toward Maine, but yeah.
On to the next one. As
Hold on. I fucked that up.
On to the next one. As fucking Gary, I mean, just continues to pleasantly surprise me. Andy and I are riding with Broncos country. They're at home, Mile High Stadium against Washington, and Gary's gonna ride with the home team. I fuck with that.
Yeah,
I like a lot.
I think this is a coin flip. I think what separates this for me is that Washington's defense is better than Vegas's defense, and we saw what Vegas's defense did against Russ last week. I think that Peyton is going to struggle to implement a new offensive scheme that's very, very different than anything Russ has ever run in his career. And I don't think that Javonte Williams is back to 100% either. I think by week 4 or 5, we might see that running game take off. But right now, I'm going to lean heavily on that Washington defense in a slugfest, probably, I don't know, fucking 16-13, right? Give me Washington 16-13.
Yeah, I was going to pick against Denver until I looked at they were playing the fucking Armada, and they pissed me off last week.
Hey, hail to the Commanders.
Yeah. Ugh.
Green Bay on the road, going to Atlanta. Andy on the Atlanta Island, maybe riding some chemtrails off of riding some chemtrails off of the fucking last week win.
I'm not fucking picking Green Bay. I'm not picking them this year. Fuck them.
Just willingly taking the L. Willingly taking the L.
Listen, I do like what Atlanta does to neutralize the defense. Their defense is best in the pass game. They get pressure up front. They can guard. And I think between Bijan and Algier, I think they have the right recipe. We'll fucking see.
I think one big thing to remember, too, is that Green Bay might be without Aaron Jones this week. So keep that in mind. He's a difference maker for them on offense. If they've got to lean on A.J. Dillon, maybe they can get physical against that Atlanta front, but that's going to be a big loss for them if they're without Aaron Jones. Just think what he did Sunday night against the Bears, or Sunday afternoon against the Bears. Had a huge, huge day. If they're missing him, it could be a problem. So this may be a pick.
I mean, hamstring injury.
It's tough. He acted like he wanted to come back in that game, but then never did. So yeah, I'm guessing you're going to see that linger for a week or two. You might not see Aaron Jones again until week 4.
Yikes. We shit on the Buffalo Bills. We've expressed some serious concerns here. Senior agreed. There's definitely some, maybe some sunshine coming after the dark clouds of Aaron Rodgers and all of his fucking ayahuasca smoke. But but Buffalo, we're all united here, Buffalo. So Vegas on the road in Buffalo, and we're gonna expect Buffalo gonna turn this shit around at home.
That's the big thing. Going home
setting.
There's no place like home after laying an egg like that against the Jets. Vegas isn't going to light up the scoreboard. Jimmy G, all he does is win, right? Like, that's been his moniker throughout his career. He just wins games, but nobody wants him. I don't think they can do it against Buffalo, though. I expect Buffalo and Josh Allen to come out with a vengeance this week and really want to atone for last week. And this Vegas defense is not the Jets defense.
Yeah, I think this is a 2-touchdown game.
I think that's fair.
The 9.5, I think it's the biggest spread of the week in favor of Buffalo. So Vegas expects 2 scores. I expect 2 touchdowns. So I'm thinking 14, 17 points easy.
Yep. No, I agree. I think that's fair.
We did get to see something last week, or just this past weekend, where we got to see Stephon Diggs reassuring Josh Allen on the sideline. Just a hint of fucking camaraderie there. And if we could get them back to where they used to be, God damn it, man. Like, we need that. We need that chemistry.
Are you sure that was reassuring, or was that Diggs saying, hey, man, don't worry about it. I won't be here next week anyway?
Well, I was going to say, we didn't see the text log yet where he was like, you fucking suck.
We had the
Yeah.
inklings in the offseason, and he was requesting a trade out of Buffalo. We know who Stephon Diggs is. Peacocks don't change their feathers. He forced his way out of Minnesota because they wouldn't give him the ball fucking 40 times a game. He's been fed the ball like crazy in Buffalo his first 3 years there. The last couple of seasons, last year, especially at the end of the season, he was upset because he didn't get the ball in the AFC playoffs. This could turn into something. If they go lay an egg against Vegas and they struggle offensively, this could turn into something weird that the locker room gets pretty toxic.
Yeah, I think they need to pull together. I mean, they have to. They absolutely have to. And I mean, like, it's one thing for Diggs to get pissy. Whenever Josh Allen's doing well, he's putting himself in contention for an AFC championship. I think it's easy to get pissy there, but it's, because people are being fed the ball and there's points being scored. But whenever you're shitting the bed against a garbage team, like that type of adversity is where I hope that Diggs can put his ego aside, like he did, Sunday night and getting it done.
Yeah. We'll see Von Miller again, week 5. He's on the PUP, so he's got to sit out at least 4. I think that they thought he would be ready in week 2 or 3, but they wanted to be 100% cautious with him. He's so important to that defense. They have to be cautious with him. We also might see Von Miller on a pitch count for a while as well. So, I don't know that we're going to see Von Miller play 80% of the defensive snaps right off the bat, but you want him healthy for December, January, because he's a difference maker on that defense with the way he's able to win against double teams and take pressure off other guys.
And Diggs is like a disgruntled fucking Karen at Target who can't find like the latest eyeliner. Like you'll always know when those fucking ladies are upset. They'll always let you know when they're mad.
Yep.
But when they're happy and you're meeting those expectations, you'll never hear a fucking word of praise out of them. So that's Diggs to me in a nutshell.
Yep.
I mean, when the going is going well, that's what he expects it to be. So he doesn't praise Allen, he doesn't praise the offense. But when shit gets rough, it's like, fuck this, I hate this play.
Yep.
We did the same thing we saw in Minnesota, like you pointed out.
Yep.
I like it. Cincinnati, all united. We're all expecting Cincinnati to bounce back, and it's going to be against a Baltimore team that can be good or can be bad. So I think that we're expecting this to be. I think we can all agree that the performance last week, weather conditions are terrible, and it's an anomaly for Joe Burrow and team and associates. So I think we can all agree that Cincinnati's going to probably pull this one off and get a good bounce back at home. Like we said in the last couple games, there's no place like home, and just give them a chance to kind of get settled in for the season.
We all think they're too good to win 2 in a row or to lose 2 in a row.
Yeah,
right?
They're going back home. Baltimore didn't look great last week either.
Right.
Houston, Lamar looked a little lost in the passing game without Mark Andrews. I don't think Mark Andrews is going to play again this week. And losing J.K. Dobbins is a big deal for that offense, despite the fact that he's almost never healthy. He's such a difference maker for them when healthy, though. Yeah, give me Cincinnati going home, getting right in week 2.
Gang. United again as the Seahawks on the road against fucking Motor City Magic, MCDC. Okay? Chewing kneecaps. Oh my God.
Yeah. Kneecaps, baby. No. Listen, I think despite my bias, I think Detroit's the better team. I think that better team's at home.
It was an easy pick.
I do think Seattle's come down a little bit. I don't know. I would have loved to see the spread had Seattle not come out and lay the egg.
Yeah.
What is it? Detroit's getting quite substantial, 6 points now.
6, I think yeah.
This quite easily could have been like a 2-point, for the home team game. But I think we're catching up here. People are catching up with Seattle. I don't think Seattle is as good as we thought they were. I don't think Geno Smith can do what he did last year. I've said it numerous times. I'm going to continue to say it. The Lions look good. They lost 2 offensive tackles in that game. If they're smart, they line up off sides. And or they line up, illegally, and they
in the fucking backfield.
Because Hutchinson, if I'm Aiden Hutchinson, I'm feeling myself after last week, despite not getting any sacks. I'm really feeling what I did.
When they moved him inside, holy fuck, he was fucking.
Oh yeah, he was just really. I mean, there was a couple times where he was like just getting full on choked by a defender, and still just getting towards Mahomes. And Mahomes like, the fuck is this guy's problem? So yeah, it's yeah, I think Gino's in trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
Show Lions at home. That's going to be a tough victory for Seattle. Chargers on the road in Tennessee. We're united with the Chargers. Tennessee's going to have their chance for some homework here. And this is, I don't know, man. I expect a bounce back game for Justin Herbert, and not that it's never necessarily even a bounce back game. I mean, he things weren't firing on all cylinders there, but I mean, it turned into a great dogfight against Miami last week. I'm expecting them to have a good bounce back. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up my lock because I believe this was actually my pick for the lock.
It was.
So lock alert here, -3 Chargers. I feel like that's a lock because that's super fucking, that's low. I mean, I'm expecting this to be at least a one possession victory, a full possession. Like it would not surprise me if this is a 10-point game at least. I mean, I'm taking the -3
I think they
all
come
day.
here and blow them out.
Yeah,
Going to Nashville, just tear them up. Again, it's kind of like the Cincy thing for me. I don't think this team is bad enough to lose 2 in a row to start the season. And we saw Tannehill and the Titans already. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I'm with you though. The three's easy. Now, full consensus. Last week when we started these, when we were picking our lock, I guess I didn't realize we were picking our lock with the spread. I thought we were just picking our lock. So once I realized it, when you picked this week, Gary, and you put the score or the spread in there, I was already just committed to where I was. So I didn't want to change it, but going forward, I feel you.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So this was my lock. I mean, -3 to the Chargers. This is too easy. I mean, this should be absolute light work for the Chargers this weekend, and a good opportunity for Staley to get his shit together.
Yeah, for sure. I like this line. A defense facing a Tannehill-led team that turned the ball over a ton last week. This is the get-right week at home. You were at home against Miami last week. This Titans offense is not Miami, despite having Derrick Henry, who I think we're finally starting to see the back end of his career. It may still be good, right? Better than most back ends, but I don't know that he's the boogeyman that he's been in the past. I think some of the foot injuries, the leg injuries, the contact, the collisions, I think are starting to catch up to them.
Definitely.
He's still fucking Clydesdale.
Still a fucking Clydesdale. Top of his class. Chicago on the road in Tampa Bay. All of us unanimous here. So we're expecting Baker to perform well against a team that is not going to perform well, right? And again, probably going to get a little home cooking too while we're at it. So this is kind of another no-brainer, I think, and not even a credit to the Buccaneers, but just an absolute acknowledgement that the Bears are dog shit.
Yep.
They're straight hot dog water, pure, unfiltered hot dog water.
Way more about the Bears than
it is out of both teams, right? We saw what we needed to see. We saw what we needed to see out of both teams last week. We saw Baker perform with the Bucs, and we saw Fields and the Bears just kind of fall short.
Yep, 100%. A lot more about the Bears than it is about the Bucs, for sure.
100%. Okay, so Chiefs on the road in Jacksonville. Iffy for Travis Kelce. We're all united with Kansas City that they're going to beat the Jags. Is anybody waffling? Just last chance.
I'm waffling a little too.
I thought so. Yeah, it's always somebody.
I like the Jags, man, and I don't know, like I made this pick assuming health, right? I assumed Kelsey's going to play. I assumed Chris Jones is going to be fine off his holdout. I made this pick because I think that Kansas City's going to want to get right really badly this week. But I still think I think back to when the Jags played the Chiefs in the second round of the playoffs last year. They gave them hell. They gave them hell and had a fucking chance to win that game in Arrowhead. This is in Duval. I waffled hard on this. This was the one of the week that I was like, fuck, man, I could pick both of these teams and feel okay with either pick. I love what the Jags are doing. I love the core players that they've got on offense. I think Calvin Ridley is rejuvenated and re-energized. We saw him struggling with some kind of mental, some mental issues when he was last with the Falcons. He wasn't sure he loved football or wanted to play football. He had things going on. Got the suspension, right, because he was gambling.
Yeah, developed a gambling problem. Yeah.
He looked very re-energized in week 1, albeit against the Colts. I get it, right? But I think that they've got a legitimate number 1 wide receiver. They've got a legitimate top running back. I think Travis Etienne is probably a top 8 running back in this league. And that defense can get after the passer. So I think they've got the recipe to be able to knock off the Chiefs. And I waffled really hard on this one. I ended up going with the Chiefs in the end because I think the Chiefs are going to come out and really want to make a statement. But I'm fully prepared to be wrong about this one because this is the one that was I was so back and forth on this.
I think this was definitely one of the bigger coin tosses for me this week.
Yeah, huge coin toss. I was back and forth too. Again, it boiled down to the same thing with the Bengals and the Chargers, and I sound like a fucking broken record, but I just can't see these teams losing twice. Yep. Right out of the gate to start the season, the Chiefs, it's a hard sell for me for them to lose again. Jacksonville maybe a little too young, a little too green to get to it. But, yeah, like everything Gary said, I echo pretty much all of that. Tank, too. Tank was, big in that reserve role behind Etienne. Yeah.
Yep.
This team's going to be dangerous. I don't know about this week.
Yeah, Bigsby vaulted a fucking touchdown from me in fantasy, fucker. Anyway.
No bigger L than that guy that lost by like 0.6 because he started Aaron Rodgers, man. That was
that was tough.
Man, R.I.P. my guy. So Gary riding on the Houston Island as Indianapolis travels to Houston. I feel like this is another kind of one of those coin tosses where both teams are not where they need to be. We saw some light coming out of Richardson, and those are the vapor trails that I'm trying to follow. But Houston at home is going to be tough. I mean, that fan base is wild. That they love the shit out of their team down in Houston, and Houston is still always in contention for worst team in the NFL. But are they going to have enough to beat the Colts? I don't know.
My concern, if I'm a Colts fan, is the last I saw of Anthony Richardson, he was limping off the field at the end of that game. What his health level is going to be this week. It was an ankle type injury. Is he going to be hobbled? Because his biggest asset right now as a rookie quarterback is his ability to pressure the defense with his feet. Houston also played Baltimore very tough last week. I think DeMeco Ryans has a good recipe for them to give teams fits because they want to run the ball. They want to play really good defense. They've got a lot of talent on that defense. Not a lot of talent on offense, which is why they're one of the worst teams in the league. As they kind of bring along CJ Stroud. But I look at the Colts. I don't think they're going to score much on the Texans in Houston. I think they were fortunate last week to play the Jags as well as they did. They were at home to open the season. For me, I think that the Texans are going to play the Colts stuff. I see these two teams probably splitting this year, kind of like Andy said about the Giants and Cowboys. I think that Houston, Indy probably split, and I would probably pick Indy in the game in Indianapolis. But for me, Houston probably in a sloppy game because I'm not 100% that Anthony Richardson is going to play, and if he does play, I'm not sure he's going to be near 100%.
Fair. I think this game should be played on Saturday.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, entirely fair.
That checks out. Logic checks out. So Andy, not having so much faith in Stafford this week as they go up against the San Francisco 49ers at home, and we have a lock alert.
Yeah. So again, I mean, I was picking just for the win before I was realizing we were rolling the spread. But once I realized it, I'm still going to take the 8 points. San Fran should be a Again, a couple of touchdowns, I would say, easily against the Rams. And I like what the Rams did last week. I think they're moving in a better direction than a lot of people give them credit for. However, San Fran, I don't know, man. I don't know if there's a juggernaut like the 49ers right now in the league. I think that I picked them this year. I think, that just stands firm with me. I believe they're the best team in the league. I saw nothing this past week that changed my mind, and I'm gonna run with them. Brandon Ayuk. Fantasy was giving that guy like 7.5 points in a half a PPR league this week, and I didn't understand it. The way he finished last year, and he just fucking torched the world. So
he beat his projection each time on his 2 touchdown catches.
It's insane. Like the team's just so well rounded. Such a good defense. Such a scary, defensive line.
Yep.
They got skill positions galore. Brock Purdy's just out there being fucking good. He's got the baby's blood, right?
It's a recipe for success, man. Kyle Shanahan and time.
Yeah, no, I think they're gonna dog the divisional opponent.
Yeah.
I'm not making that mistake again this week. Brock Purdy showed me last week that he's whatever fucking healing factor, Deadpool healing factor he's got going on there with that elbow. No rust. Picked up right where he left off against the Steelers got blown out, but that is one of the best defenses in the league, right? Let's not get it twisted. The Niners made one of the best defenses in the league look very pedestrian. Kyle Shanahan, as you said it, right? Kyle Shanahan in time, Kyle Shanahan with all those weapons. Brandon Ayuk is a different player than he was when he first came in the league. He was kind of a gimmick, go deep guy. He's become a really good route runner. He's become a very reliable pass catcher. And he makes a difference for that offense because he gives them that home run factor that, they don't necessarily have outside of him. Kittle's still not at 100%. It's crazy. That they still have a guy in reserve that might be the best at his position, right? Arguably, in terms of a complete package at tight end with his ability to block. It's wild. It's wild what the Niners are doing. They got better this offseason than they were last year with the Javon Hargrave addition, and Purdy having an off season of preparation. I look at this team and man, they got dogged a lot for the Trey Lance move, but they're fucking still winning games. Like, who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
They gave up fucking 25 first-round picks, and they're still way ahead of the rest of the league. So, just tells you how good they're doing there. In
Scoreboard, that's the response. It's the response every time, man. Scoreboard.
Yeah, for sure.
So, on to our next lock alert as the Giants on the road in Arizona, and Andy, I think, is on the Arizona Island here.
I am.
Gary, excuse me. Yeah, my bad. Gary's on Arizona Island. We do have a lock alert. Arizona plus 5.5.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not giving you the money line as a lock. I'm picking them money line. I'm going to wager at money line because I think that the Giants, after last week, I think they're that bad. I just got done dogging Arizona as if like they were a fucking JV squad against Washington and how bad Washington played to keep them in that game. But I also think that the Giants probably should have lost 60 or 70-0 against the Cowboys last week, in all fairness. That's a bad team. That's a bad offensive line. It's a bad defense that got really fortunate last year with some timely turnovers, and they were able to keep teams at bay. They're not that team. They're not surprising people with this weird Daniel Jones gimmick anymore, or Danny Dogecoin, as you called him, Raul. Saquon is who he is, but if he's getting hit in the backfield every time he touches the ball, can't really run that way. He just can't. He's not Barry Sanders. My lock is plus 5.5. I am picking them money line. I will be wagering them money line. This will absolutely be on my ticket this weekend. Good juice at 5.5. I'm going to take it with the money line because I just think that the Cardinals, despite how bad I think they are, I think the Giants are worse.
Yep.
Right now.
Yep. 100% agreed. I think the Giants are going to make a play for worst team in the league this year.
But you picked them to beat the Cardinals.
Yeah. Well, because the Cardinals are probably the worst team.
I know. Yeah.
That's where you're going, right, Raul?
There's some fucking stiff competition down there, Doc. Like the fight for the top is just as vicious as the fight for the bottom.
It's tough.
It's
tough.
It's crazy with me because my opinion on Arizona has improved slightly after 1 week, and my opinion of the Giants has decreased significantly. However, I still pick the Giants because I think the margin is that much different. However, 5.5. I might take that spread.
Yeah. I won't give you the money line as a lock, but 5.5 is too much for me. I think if the Giants win, it's a field goal.
Fair.
The Jets, MILF Hunter on the road in Dallas. All of us united in picking Dallas now that the recent news that's come out today, Aaron Rodgers out for the season with a complete tear of his Achilles tendon. He's going the KD route, probably a little bit more spiritual. Yikes. So, I mean, this should be, in theory, easy money.
More spiritual. He's a little older. I think Aaron Rodgers is done.
He's probably done.
He fucking should be.
Yeah, that was his last game.
I don't know how you come back from Achilles at 40.
No, he's not, and he doesn't strike me as the type of guy who's going to fucking go get in there and do all. Yeah, I can't see it. I don't blame him, but I can't see it. Just untimely. Did you guys see the slow motion video? I'm sure you have.
It was. Yeah.
I mean that looks like when you were a kid, you got the fucking big kid on the edge of the trampoline and the fucking spring gives.
Yep.
Fuck, man, that I couldn't believe nobody showed that last night. Like, I'm surprised that everybody missed that.
They showed the replay a bunch of times, and it just looked like he jammed his leg, jammed his ankle. And then they got the up close kind of slowed down. And you're like, holy fuck, that's a rubber band. Like, Jesus Christ.
Man, that thing just, I mean, it looks like it moves like 3 fucking inches too. Like, it's amazing to see. But yeah, shout out to Aaron Rodgers. I hated Green Bay my whole life.
Pussy.
Didn't want it to end this way for him. It's tough, but I think I think it's over with. Yeah. I did see a fucking funny meme though with Tom Brady in a Jets uniform, and they were like, Tom Brady has an opportunity to pull off the most hilarious thing of all time.
That'd be crazy.
Fuck, Kaepernick's calling the Jets already.
I know.
This fucking guy, he doesn't give up.
He's an idiot. He
doesn't give up.
Like, what is
Listen,
40
there are two guarantees this weekend, and things are about to get slayed. One is 40-plus smoke shows in the Dallas area are about to be slayed by Zach Wilson. And then, in turn, Zach Wilson's going to get fucking slayed on Sunday. This
by
Dallas
40-plus.
yeah, probably, honestly. This Dallas front made a fucking joke of the Giants' offensive line, and maybe the only offensive line you can demonstrably say or definitively say is worse than that Giants O-line is this Jets O-line. So Zach Wilson's going to be under siege all weekend. The only chance the Jets have is if that defense plays unbelievably, creates turnovers, gets a couple of pick sixes. They've got to score more than once, I think, this weekend if they're going to have any chance against Dallas. I don't see it happening. I could see Dallas repeating kind of what they did Sunday against the Giants with, 8, 9, 10 sacks. 20-plus pressures.
I think we're gonna see at least one quarter where there's negative rushing yards.
It's very possible. You could see negative total yards. Like, that defensive front for the Cowboys is fast. They get after it. There are ways to neutralize them. We've seen teams that can run the ball against them be able to neutralize them, but that's not the Jets' offensive line. So,
I mean, the flip side of that has to be, and Raul doesn't want to hear about it, but how many balls does fucking Dak Prescott throw to Green? I mean, that's got to be a legitimate concern because despite all of this, the Bills have a very
Whitehead's gonna eat.
Yeah. Oh, we get him frozen.
I think he's frozen. Yeah, I think Whitehead's gonna eat. I mean, I have no doubt. We're gonna see the pick. It's gonna happen. This is gonna be That's going to be the secondary that happens. Mode, you kind of froze for a little bit.
Froze for a second, yeah.
But I just kind of ran with your question. I think that Whitehead is going to eat. So, like, I have no fucking doubt there. I think that the first pick of Dak's season is going to happen this weekend, and I'm not going to be surprised by it. I think I would dare say probably the only points that the Jets will score will come from the defense.
It has to be, right? I don't know that they score much on offense. Maybe they can muster a field goal or two. But
I don't know, man. They were resilient at running the football, and I listen. I got to give credit to the Bills' defense, but I still think the Jets were able to get some. You only got to get a couple drives going. You get a couple drives going, you put a field goal on the board, 2 field goals on the board. Again, I think Dallas is going to run away with this game, but I don't know. Maybe a full week of Milf Hunter. Because that's the other thing too, is he's gotten no
get reps
with the first team.
We're about to see, right? They said all offseason how much they respected and thought that he was maturing under Aaron Rodgers. We're going to find out, especially this week against this defense with a week to prepare. If he comes out and has a pretty good game, lost in all of this is how many weapons they have on offense. If he can just hit his spot, Garrett Wilson wins on almost every route he fucking runs. And then we saw maybe one of the handful best catches in the history of the game. Like, that was an unbelievable catch. I don't know
about no pretty good games though. I'm not going that far with it. Like, I think he could have an all right game.
Well, sure, fine. But I think with as good as that defense is and as many weapons as they have, if he just has an all right game, I think that defense is going to give them a lot of chances to win. Do I think they're going to beat the Cowboys? No, but I see a formula where Dak does what Dak did all year last year, missing 4 games and still leading the league in picks, and maybe gives the Jets a fucking touchdown on defense, right? And this ends up a 13-10 Jets win, possibly. I don't know.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
All right. Trying to remember
you fucking did it again, Gary.
Oh, dude, no, I was just lost there for a second because I feel like we went off for so long. We were talking about the Cowboys. Miami on the road in Gillette. Gary on fucking Pat's Island, dude.
That's what I meant.
Oh, excuse me. He has little faith in Tua, and he has little faith in the Miami team, and I don't understand it. So
there's a lot of faith in Mac Jones.
The gentleman has
not faith in Mac Jones. It's not having faith in the Dolphins. It's that defense is unbelievable. And I'm going to go back to it. If they didn't spot the Eagles 17 in that game, they're 1-0 against the defending NFC champs.
They're Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle fucking good.
Yes.
That's hard, man. I don't know, Gary.
They always struggle against the fucking Pats. It's Bill Belichick. Historically, they've struggled against the Pats. This is a quintessential Bill game. This is.
I feel like he's got to prove my point, though.
Bill Belichick. I proved your point. How?
By saying that Belichick struggles against the Pats.
No. The Dolphins always struggle against the Pats.
Okay. I thought you said Belichick.
Yeah. This is going to be a vintage Bill game. This is all defense. This is the Pats against the Dolphins. In Gillette, give me that defense. Because listen, they should be 1-0. Without that fucking weird start to the game, Philadelphia looked pedestrian on offense against that New England defense.
I mean, in 2 months, I would care that it was Gillette. I don't in September. I don't know if I care so much. Like Miami in December or November, or, God forbid January. I give a huge shit about them playing in Foxborough, but I don't know, man. All right, we're gonna see.
We'll see.
We will see.
We're gonna see.
We will see. And Senior, 100% agreed. Pat's D is definitely tough. I do think.
You pick the fucking Steelers too.
He did. What the bitch, Gary? God damn it!
Oh, suddenly you guys are fucking believers in the Browns. Get the fuck out of here. Miss me with that bullshit.
I'm just not a believer in the fucking Steelers, bro. Like we skipped the whole game, by the way.
We did skip it.
We skipped. Hey,
Let's skip the
hold on.
game.
I'm trying to give you the signal that the quarterbacks give the coaches to rerun the play. Carolina at home against New Orleans. I'm on the island here at Carolina, and honestly, I'm not fucking. I don't think that Olave is going to be able to do enough. I don't have a whole hell of a lot of faith in that New Orleans team, and I'm just giving home field advantage. Really, that's about it. This was another one of the coin tosses of which fucking,
Right. I picked the Panthers last week and they lost, and I picked against the Saints and they won, and that was my logic.
That plays.
That's all I have against that Saints defense. That's my big thing. Rookie quarterback against that defense.
Yeah. And the defense is stout. That's completely fair.
Could be a low-scoring game because Carolina's defense is pretty tough too. Could be like a, I don't know, 13-10 game, something along those lines. But that defense is going to confound Bryce Young.
Well, and spoiler alert, Gary picked Pittsburgh. I'm not like, I haven't been under some like fucking impression that the Browns are some Super Bowl caliber team. Just like I don't feel like I've conveyed that the Browns are like the fucking worst team in the league either. They have a lot of great tools, but Pittsburgh is not there. They're not there.
Okay.
I don't get that. I don't understand.
I think it's some of the residual for me. I just and I'm probably overplaying what happened because they played the 49ers and they looked really fucking bad against the 49ers. So I'm holding that against them. And I probably shouldn't be, because before that win or that loss, I probably had these two teams splitting, and I probably had the home team winning. Wait, who's at home? Is it Steelers at home?
Steelers at home.
Yeah, I might have fucked this one up. I'm sticking with it because
you got to stay with it now. You already made me out to be the asshole.
It's because of what happened last week.
That was all me.
Yeah.
They lost in a resounding fashion, and the Browns, albeit a sloppy game, they came through and they won. And I thought Watson had some really good moments. So I mean that's. But again, prior to that, all that shit, I'm probably picking Pittsburgh because I'm picking the split at home. But yeah, no, I just had to bust Gary's balls because he repeated himself with the fucking Pats in Pittsburgh.
Listen, I have Pittsburgh in the playoffs, so I have to pick them to win a fucking game here at some point, right? Last week I got cute. Last week I got cute because I thought Purdy would struggle out the gates, right? This week the Browns ain't beating the fucking Steelers. These aren't the fucking Jim Brown Browns. Let's fucking relax with that. They had a fortunate fucking game last week that Joe Burrow forgot how to play football. Otherwise, they're 0-1 going into Pittsburgh, and you guys are probably picking Pittsburgh to win this game.
That's fair.
It's relative. Yeah.
Just that's the way I look at it. Pittsburgh's a better team than Cleveland, period. That's what it boils down to, and they're home.
Yeah.
He called us out. It was fair, though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't believe that they are. I don't think that the Steelers are a better team than the Browns.
I don't think that they're better either. I picked them to be the last in the division slightly. I didn't.
If you're comparing
I said
defenses, sure.
Yeah. But no, I think you're right in saying that if they hadn't won last weekend and Pittsburgh hadn't gotten beat so bad, maybe I can't speak for Raul, but I had said that already. I probably would have picked Pittsburgh just because they were home, but I still think Cleveland's better than them.
Yeah, I think the blowout definitely is what did it for me. And again, it was against the Niners, sure, whatever. But yeah, I mean,
all right. Well, let's take a quick little diversion because we got a ad hoc mailbag question here in the comments. So let's hop in our bag real quick.
Gary Free Sr. asks, do the Bills have an option behind Josh Allen?
Yeah, it's missed the playoffs.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I'll jump in, and I'll just flat out like it's no, right? And if you're a Bills fan, you're trying to figure out what that option might be. But the answer is no, and I think that's the most confounding thing about the way he's playing right now is that you've hitched your wagon to Josh Allen, and 7 months ago we probably say like, hey, that's a fucking great decision. Or not 7, probably 15 months ago, right? Middle of last season, you're probably saying like, that's a great decision because Josh Allen's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But we saw him down the stretch turn the ball over a lot. We saw him in the playoffs make some bad decisions. And then we see in week 1, he makes 4 awful decisions with turnovers and a few other bad decisions during that game. Andy, you mentioned it. Maybe it was you, Raul, but somebody mentioned taking hits he didn't need to take. He missed on a lot of throws during that game. The one pick he threw, I mentioned on the one that everybody was like, oh, it's just a punt. Like he had one defensive back to beat for a first down. I take Josh Allen in that scenario 100 times out of 100 against a defensive back. So it's all those things that add up for me to say like, no, I don't think they have an option because they've hitched their wagon so heavily to Josh Allen. They're very pass happy on offense, focused on wide receivers and tight ends and pass catching options. And they've put a lot of effort in the defense into rushing the passer to keep other teams off the field. Unfortunately, without, Josh Allen fixing this thing, Andy, you put it perfectly, they're going to miss the playoffs.
I think, here's my thing. I think all of this shit is fixable. I think Josh Allen is good enough to fix this. I just don't think that he can fix it without being corrected. So Sean McDermott, I don't know what he has to do. I don't know if it's him or if he has to go get an old Bill Vatt, get Jim Kelly, get somebody. Somebody has to come in this building and sit Josh Allen down and say, look at this, watch this. This shit doesn't fucking cut it. This isn't working. You have all of the ability on your feet. You have all the ability in the passing game. This team has the right weapons, but you have to change the way you're doing things. And until that happens, Josh is just going to do what Josh knows how to do. And those things, if whether it's they've been discovered or they're just not working anymore, that's the problem here. And I think it's on McDermott. It's ultimately going to be on Allen, but I think he's just at this point he hasn't changed things. So somebody has to make him change something.
Someone's got to hold him accountable.
Right.
In a stern fashion too, not just going in the media and saying, yeah, it's on me. Like someone's got to, like you said, someone's got to get in his face and say, listen, we're only going to go as far as take us.
He came in as a kid in Buffalo. Yeah, it's definitely not Diggs. He's the fucking Kyrie Irving in the NFL, but that's very well put. I mean, it's definitely, I think that Josh Allen is a Ferrari, but you got to have somebody qualified to drive him. You know what I mean? But he needs a mentor. He was a fucking kid coming straight out of college, and
Omen's back,
and he didn't have the guidance. He wasn't Jordan Love under Aaron Rodgers for a few seasons. He wasn't, he didn't get a chance to have that proper understudy time, and some people need that. I think that Josh Allen's a prime candidate for who you want to be an understudy, and he got a chance to go take lead, but he had someone to look up to, and a great QB coach, right? And so, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
for sure. All right, you guys ready for some overreactions?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Overreaction number 1. The Cowboys are Super Bowl favorites after dismantling the Giants. # We Dem Boys. If you would bring up the visual that we have presented for this. So, listen, Cowboys fans, I want you to look straight at your fucking screen. I just want you to let you know this is not something that we've developed. This is something that is common fucking knowledge and has been shared all the way around the internet, and there's a goddamn reason for it. We beat up on a bad team, so we're here. Okay. We're going to do it again this weekend, so we're still going to be there. A lot of you are already at step 3, and that's where you're getting delusional, right? So a lot of you are already at step 4, which is worse than delusional. We haven't allowed ourselves the opportunity to even get into the playoffs yet, so we're not at step 5. But some of you are on step 3, and let's just enjoy step 2. let's fucking baby step our way through this cycle. But this is an ultimate overreaction. The Cowboys are not back. They're not here to lock in the NFC. They're still not the top contender in the NFC East. So although we are not the dog shit NFC East of the past, we are still very, very much so having to fight and contend against the Eagles. That is the team to beat in the NFC East, period. There is nothing else to talk about. It is not a shoe-in. Let's please be realistic here, Cowboys fans. And you're not going to. You're not going to grease pole. You're not going to need to grease poles, and we're not going to burn down our city for anything because we haven't won anything of value for that to happen. But with that, calm the fuck down, boys. We're not even back. We started okay. We're not back. Yeah, I mean, listen, we've been gone for 30 years. We're not back yet.
I like how you use this opportunity to like go in on the Dallas fans' overreaction and not your own.
I didn't overreact. I mean, I knew we were going to win. What do you mean?
Overreaction after week one. I thought that meant my own overreaction after week one. Give me mine. What did he say?
Oh, Yo. Yeoman late with absolute fucking nuclear fire.
Laying the lumber.
Utter disregard.
My man's going yard in the comments.
For no reason.
Week one overreaction. Tua will win MVP.
Tua's the MVP, baby. After week one, 400 and some odd yards, a fucking stable offense, couple of stallions, fins up, MVP. That's my overreaction after week one. See how it's my overreaction?
I feel like I misread. I'm sorry.
That's what maybe I misread. We'll see what Gary has going here.
The Vikings will miss the playoff. Baker's over Kirk. Yeah. Well, I'll take the L here, but I just needed to get that off my chest.
Listen, the Vikings looked really bad. The Vikings have a worse problem at running back and in the running game than I thought they would. I thought the combination of Madison and a couple of those young guys might be able to kind of offset some of what Dalvin Cook brought them the last 6 years. It's not. And if they can't figure out the running game, you're taking away, basically, as I mentioned previously, you're taking away Kirk's greatest strength. He's so good in the play action game. He's been that way since his days in Washington, and even more so in Minnesota with the weapons that they've had with Jefferson and Thielen and et cetera on down the line. And now Jordan Addison looks like he might be the real deal. But if they can't set up the play action, they're going to struggle to hit the big play on offense. And it showed this weekend against a Bucs defense that, yeah, there's still some talent there on that defense, and they showed it against the Vikings. Bad loss at home in week one. You looked really bad on offense. You couldn't stop Baker Mayfield in that Bucs offense when it really mattered. And you weren't able to kind of squeeze one of those wins that you squeezed last year. So my overreaction for week one is my NFC North winner is going to miss the playoffs.
Well, allow me to use it in context. My overreaction for this week is that the Green Bay Packers are going to win the NFC North.
Listen, I alluded to it earlier.
I did it.
Yeah, that's actually something that I've when I was saying that the NFC North is going to be a tough division this year, it's going to be fun to watch. I agree. The Packers, I think, looked really good defensively. We have to take it with a grain of salt, and that's why it is an overreaction, right? It's a beautifully executed overreaction because it is the Bears. But yeah, man, the Packers look like if that's the game you're going to get from them week in and week out, they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough.
Corey, listen, Coach McDaniels is
Mike McCarthy.
is exactly. I couldn't agree more. I think that he's exactly what Tua needs. I meant to give Coach McDaniels some praise earlier when we were talking about the Dolphins. Like, I really do think that Coach McDaniels is such a great coach for that program. You know, he feeds into the energy with Cheetah. He's really empowering Tua on the sidelines. The chemistry that they've built in this kind of camaraderie fashion is going to do well with Tua, because you're right. He doesn't want to be hard coached. You know, and I feel like, I don't know if Saban had to have soft hands with him either, but, you know. I wish he would be a little more fucking cathartic so we didn't have to deal with that dickhead. If you're, I mean, going back to McCarthy, not McDaniels. But anyways, no, nothing but praise for McDaniels. I think he's such a net positive addition to that program, and I think he's going to do wonderful things with that fucking team, especially with Tua behind center.
That's it, homie.
I think that's all of it in the bag. In the fucking bag, boys. All right. Any closing thoughts? We'll make the rounds. Mode, what you got?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers' last NFL completion was to Kirby Joseph of the Detroit Lions. So there's that. Maybe his last completion of all time.
From the fucking top rope.
Like, I'm talking from the opposite fucking free throw line. My man just fucking splashed on him. People's elbow. I mean, stone cold stunner. My man's fucking crushing cans on top of the courts.
That was a fucking flawless victory, bro.
Finish him. That's yo.
Well done.
Because fuck him, that's why.
I'm fucking crying, dude.
That was so
That was so perfectly executed.
Straight pissing on this man's grave.
Oh my god. Well done. Well done.
Gary, I don't know how you follow that.
I don't. Get us out of here.
Well, I'll do what I do best, and that's try. From all of you guys, from all of us here at Backyard Sports, we appreciate you tuning in. Corey, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to check in. We got it. You know, you're a little late, a little tardy for class. We'll let that slide for next week. Save it to your calendar. Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. Love to have you guys back. Senior, always a pleasure. Of course, ride or die. I see that 3-year sticker in the comments. We appreciate you. The show's been around for 5, so I won't hold the other 2 against you. That's fine. But anyways, from all of us here at Backyard Sports, my name's Raul Herrera. I got Gary. I was trying to see which camera I was going to be pointing. I got Gary Freeze. I got Andy Flint mode out here. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week. We're out of here.